The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We will begin shortly. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Allow me just a moment to introduce myself. I'm Latika Battle. I'm one of the market managers with Ardent Credit Union. I'm so glad that you could participate tonight in tonight's workshop with us. We may have sometimes technology issues. It's not always the easiest to work with, so we just ask that you please be patient with us. We have a lot going on in our lives right now. Please know that Ardent Credit Union is always here for you. If you have any additional banking or borrowing needs, please keep in mind that Ardent is here for you. If you need to ask a question during the workshop, please click Questions tab and type in your question. The photo to the left is a screen of an iPad, and the photo to the right is a screen of a desktop. We have Lisa from Ardent's marketing department on the line who will relay questions to Blake during the seminar. There will also be a Q&A session after the workshop. Just a reminder that if you are viewing the workshop from a smartphone, you will have to swipe right to see the PowerPoint. Blake Weisman is a South Jersey native with a passion for cooking. After working his way up the restaurant ladder, he's currently the chef at Zeppoli, a small, romantic, and very intimate 35-seat bring-your-own-bag restaurant located in Collingswood, New Jersey. The restaurant serves classic yet very simple Italian cuisine, combining new and old traditions.
Everyone, my name is Blake. I'm the chef here at Zeppoli. Today we'll be making an almond and blueberry torrone. It's a almond nougat with blueberries, honey, sugar. That sets up into pretty much like a nice southern Italian candy. Today we want to start off with our eggs. The first thing, make sure you pull them out a little bit early. I have all my meat in the pots here, but actually before I do that, I want to go over all the utensils that we're going to need to do this. Right here, we have a pan lined with some wafer papers. Before I even put them in, I just started the pan and hit the top with a little bit of powdered sugar. Just like that. Put it to the side, we won't need it for the very end. Over here, I have a candy thermometer. This is a special one right here, not like your normal thermometer. It goes up to almost 400 degrees. If you look at it, it also has a nice long string and a big metal bar, so you can avoid burning yourself at any point. Today we'll be cooking this sugar to almost like 350, so you want to be very careful. I recommend if you're going to try this, use something like this. Over here we have a spatula, good for folding. We have some tablespoons, always good to have, and a nice duster for freshness. Now, to start this off, I'm going to start by taking some eggs and separating. This is right here, very important. You want to separate the yolks from the egg whites. Now, if you don't separate the yolks from the egg whites, you'll never be able to make a meringue in the first place, and it makes it very, very difficult to even do. So make sure you don't have any of the yellow part inside of it. Now, once you get these separated, we'll throw them right into the mixer. mixer and add a pinch of salt. Now what the salt does, it slightly cooks the eggs, which helps you form the meringue. Now, when I turn the meringue on, I turn it on like a medium heat, and we're looking for a soft beat. As that's going, in this pan, I have my honey and my sugar. That will slowly cook me up to 325 degrees. Now, I'm just going to take my thermometer and place it right into the saute pan with the sugar and the honey. And I'm going to keep a close eye on it. It's probably going to take close to 5 minutes, maybe 4 or 5 minutes while the eggs are going. I'm just going to keep cooking that sugar to 325 and keep it about 45 minutes. Now, as I'm watching this, I'm looking for a nice soft heat. Once it becomes a soft heat, I have my 10x sugar, that will be slowly pouring in. Also, my cream is starting. This helps take the torrone and make sure it stays fresh and doesn't go bad within a week or so. It actually prolongs shelf life for almost like a month, maybe two. So you can turn it up a little bit. And again, I'm going to go back here and check my honey and my sugar to make sure it's not burning on the sides. And it's still good.
Blake, I believe there's a small echo. We're just going to play with the audio. If you just give us 1 second.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
There's a small echo due to the mixer.
Okay.
So we're just going to play with the audio very quickly.
Okay. So right now, I'm getting kind of close to my meringue. I'm getting to the big ball. Very soon I'll be having my 10x sugar and my cream party. Over here, the honey and the sugar are practically dissolving. And it looks like I have about 2 minutes before I'm going to hit my temperature, 325. How's the audio? Is it okay?
I believe the audio is better now that the mixer's off. Thank you.
Okay. So if you look at this, this is like kind of a salty meringue right here. You want to start off kind of like that. Now, once you get to that point where it's very foamy and it's kind of aerated, this is the part where you want to start adding your extra sugar and your starter. So I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of this. And like I said, if this cream is harder, keep the eggs stabilized. So your turning will last, a month, maybe 2, and it's a great thing to have during summertime, Christmas, Easter, any special holiday. It's great to have around for family. When I add that right, pull back up and go back up to a medium heat, slowly pour in 10x sugar or powdered sugar. and check my honey. Now, it's starting to bubble a lot. Very close. So I'm going to have my thermometer back in there and see how close I am to 325. Now, if you ever see any powdered sugar, anything like that on the side of the bowl, I always like to take it off and scrape it, just to be safe. Anything raw sugar, salt, anything that's stuck on the sides, not good for your end product. So scrape it, turn it back on. Now, I'm really going to turn up the speed. I want to make sure that we speed it up so the honey doesn't get going too early. It's all about timing when you make something like this. You kind of want to make sure that those things kind of get set at the same exact time. This might seem a little difficult the first time you try it, but it really is easier than everyone thinks. Now my temperature, don't say 325. So I'm going to mix my honey right here. Be very careful because it's at a caramel stage. When you take the honey and the sugar and you pretty much make a caramel on it. Now I'm going to take that, put it on top of the oven, put it aside, let it cool for about a minute. Now, as that setting going, I'm focused on the meringue and I'm looking at my egg whites and seeing how they build up. The more air, the better. More volume for this torrone. It'll have a nicer shape, it'll have more flavor, and all around it'll be a better product. So I like to lift up the bowl a little bit. It's only because the stuff on the bottom that I want to really make sure that it gets poured very well into this meringue. Now, while this is mixing, it's about halfway done. Make sure you have your blueberries, which I dried out before I even started. These are dried blueberries. I put them in the oven for about at 225 for 3 hours. They come out, they take a lot of moisture out of the blueberries. Then on the side, I have some toasted almonds right here. I have my orange zest to bring out a little bit of freshness in the torrone, and my extracts, orange blossom and vanilla. Orange blossom is an Italian extract, comes straight from Sicily. It brings out a really nice background flavor with its torrone, especially when we use blueberries and almonds. I'll put these aside. Let's focus on the meringue. Lift up the bowl again. Now we're getting close. I think we're about a minute and a half out for this. Perfect. Growing up, my grandmother always used to make this for the holidays. It's very nice. It's really special. It's almost like nostalgia. Something that brings back to Christmas, to Easter. We do pretty much a variety of different ones. Raisins, strawberries, pistachios. It didn't really matter, but she always used to have it on hand. So it really brings me back to my childhood. God bless her soul. It's really nice thing to have. So if you're getting pretty close, I'm going to take it off. Check it out. Take the meringue. Now, when you take it, dab it,
knock off a little bit of that peak, and you want to look at it. So this is what we call a medium stiff peak, where it doesn't go straight up. That would be a stiff. Medium stiff peak. Can you hear me now? Better? All right, awesome. Cool. So now, again, I just want you to look at the meringue. It's very fluffy. It almost looks like a marshmallow, like a loose marshmallow right here. Very shiny, very airy. Knock off the sides. You're looking for a stiff medium peak. So down, tap it over the side of the bowl. It goes up, it goes straight back down. That's what we call a stiff medium peak. So let me take my spatula, knock off the side, because I'm always worried that, you know, it won't get incorporated well. I'm going to add my meringue. Put my meringue back into the bowl. Now, at this point, my caramel set, it cooled down to about 300. I let it rest for about a minute or two. I'm going to turn the mixer back on to a medium speed. And then very, very slowly, and when you handle this, be very careful because it's extremely hot. Pour it right in the middle of the whisk and the bowl at like a medium high speed. Start off slowly, and as it gets incorporated, you go a little faster. Now, technically, what this is for is like an Italian meringue, something where you heat up sugar and slowly pour into egg whites, like fluffed up egg whites, like a meringue. It's practically a marshmallow. Pouring the whole thing in there. Grab my spatula, make sure I don't waste. Nothing worse than that. Right on the side of the bowl. Beautiful. Now you can get rid of this pan. Gonna flame off. Now I'm just gonna pick this up for a second and show you the inside of this bowl. If you see, it kind of doubled in size and it's very shiny. What I'm looking for is I'm gonna mix it for about 2 minutes and let it settle back down to its normal size. So it kind of gets dense into that nougaty texture. Yeah, it's very chewy. So as this mix, I want to make sure I have all my mise en place ready. And right in front of me. Our next step is pretty much adding in our blueberries, our toasted almonds, our extracts. And what this does is this flavors the meringue or the torrone mixture. About a minute left. Now over here for this part, I want to grab a wooden spoon. A little better than using a rubber spatula, only because it's so strong and this is very, very thick that I can kind of take it and mix it around very well without having any problems. Now, let me bring this computer back over here. If you look at it, it came back down. It's not double in size anymore, and there's no more shine to it. So at this point, I'm going to turn it off, Bring it down. Knock off any, look at that, it's beautiful. Knock off any of this meringue or torrone mixture right back into the bowl, and very quickly add all my ingredients in. You want to work with this mixture while it's pretty hot. If not, it's going to be a real very difficult for you to mix it. All right, so I got all my ingredients in here. Now, very vigorously take it and mix it right into the bowl, just like this. Now, the only thing that keeps this moving around is the heat. So if you're not fast, you're gonna have a very difficult time. You might have to take it, put it back onto a burner, like one of these over here, just to heat up the bottom of your KitchenAid. Scrape the bottom of the bowl. Looking good. And then your prepared pan right here. I always like to use a rectangle pan, traditional, but hey, you do whatever you want. So take it, lift it up, plop it right into the mold. Beautiful. Nice. Now I'm going to take this and just on the range just for a moment. Because it cooled down so much, it becomes so sticky, it's very hard to work with. Awesome. So all I need was a couple seconds on there, reheated it, made it easier to work with. Now I'm taking this and kind of smearing it all over the top of this pan. Just remember, it's lined with wafers, so it's never going to stick to this. Pull up all that. Very nice. Oh, it's beautiful. Put this in the sink, let go of water, and at the very end, we're just going to take a wafer paper, have it set aside, put it on the very top, press down hard, and we're going to flip it over right onto the cutting board and kind of bang it out. Just making sure that any creases are kind of forwarded in. Looks like that. It's all set. Now, this is something I would do the night before. Let it set for about 4 to 5 hours at least, if not overnight. It'll get a little bit more flavor the longer it sits. All right, cool, awesome, that's done. Now, this is the one I made yesterday. Check it out. This is what it looks like when it comes out of the pan. Right here, nice square, beautiful form. And right here, you see we have all the blueberries and toasted almonds. And it's very dense. You can pick it up right here. It's just solid brick of torrone. Now, if you ever go to Sicily, you'll see this everywhere in the local shops and almost like every family's house. To serve, grab a nice chef's knife right here. I always love to use this. This chef's knife right here, practically do anything with it. I'll take this chef's knife and spray it with a little bit of pan, just to grease it up and make it a little bit easier so it doesn't stick to my knife. Take it, go right down the end of it. Nice even cut, beautiful. And this is what it looks like at the very end. Sometimes you can serve with powdered sugar if you like, if you got a sweet tooth. But this is it. It's delicious. It's always great to use the fruit that's in season. That's why I recommend. Lisa, do we have any questions?
We do have a couple questions, but we do have a couple viewers concerned that your burner is on behind you.
Oh boy. There you go. The nice part about working in an actual kitchen, you don't have to actually worry about that stuff. But
So one of our
Torrone.
questions is, where do you get wafer paper at?
Wafer paper, Amazon. I get it from Amazon, if not the Italian market. But unfortunately, with the whole COVID thing, I have to, go online. But it's very cheap, $5, $10, and you'll get a whole pack of wafer papers the last few months.
Could you use parchment paper instead of wafer paper?
No, you could not. Only because parchment paper is not edible. Wafer papers you can eat and not have a single problem with it. You'll never be able to get that parchment paper off, unfortunately.
Okay. So some other viewers are asking, what type of wine is best paired with blueberry torrone?
Oh, with the torrone?
Yeah.
For wine, I would go something more white, a little bit more acidic to pair well with the berries. A red's a little bit too sweet for me, but I would go with some kind of type white wine. Not a Riesling though.
Okay.
Maybe Zeppoli. Zeppoli is a great pairing for this, but I would stay away from the Riesling personally.
And how do you store blueberry torrone? Do you put it in the fridge? Do you just wrap it up and put it in the freezer or a cupboard?
So that's a great thing about this. As soon as this is made, all set up, you don't have to leave it in the fridge, the freezer, anything like that. You can just leave it out, wrap it up real tight with some plastic wrap, leave it anywhere in a cool place, maybe not too humid. Your kitchen, your living room, doesn't really matter. You can just leave it out, and it'll last 2, 3, maybe even 4 months. Save it for the whole family.
Okay. How do you serve torrone? Do you serve it alone, or do you put it on like a charcuterie board?
Oh, charcuterie board. No, I wouldn't put it on a charcuterie board. I would save it for dessert mainly. Something I like to pair with like ice creams, like something. This I would love to chop up, and I might do it with the leftovers from today and make a nice gelato out of it. Take it, pop it right on top. Maybe make a semi-fritto, which is like a cold mousseline, like frozen mousseline. But definitely more of a dessert course. It's so sweet. It's got so much honey in there, and there's so much sugar that it's not going to pair well with your salumi or your cheeses too well.
Okay. Another viewer is asking, what do you call this recipe? Is it a nougat?
I call it a torrone. It's just that's for Americans, they call it a nougat. But in Sicily and Italy, it's called torrone. A hard candy-like marshmallow with some kind of film.
Some viewers are saying that when you cut the torrone, it looks very hard to get a knife into. Is there a specific knife you should be using?
Yeah, I think the chef knife by far is the best thing to use. When you take it though, I always like to spray with hand. Comes out a little bit cleaner of a cut. But the chef knife, something big like this, is great. It's so versatile that you can literally do anything with it. Take it, one hand, maybe put a towel on the other side, and just go down and put your weight on it. And it should slice fairly easy. It's not too hard.
Another viewer is asking, do you suggest using fresh blueberries or buying the ones that are already like dried?
Personally, as a chef, I can always say fresh. I'll go out of my way to make sure I take the oven, put them in the oven, dry them out 3 or 4 hours, only because at the end of the day, I just know the flavor is going to be so much better. It's not going to be processed. I know the blueberry is going to be in season. I know whatever fruit I'm using actually is going to be in season. And when I dry them out, I'm the one that's sitting there and making sure they're going to be the best they possibly can be. you know. And maybe the first time it doesn't come out the best, but the second time, the third time, the fourth time, you're going to be a pro by the end of it. It's really not hard at all. It's very easy to make, and it's why you see it in so many Italian alcohols.
Our next question is, what temperature should the blueberries be dried at for 3 to 4 hours?
The temperature, I would go around 225, very low and slow. And at that point, it'll make sure that your blueberries don't burn, and it brings out all the moisture inside of them. Now, the only thing is it does take 3 to 4 hours, so you definitely want to make sure you have your timer on there and you don't forget about it. It's happened before. It's not fun.
Okay. Another viewer is asking, the almonds look like they were whole almonds. Do you ever chop them?
Do you ever chop them? I personally do not, only because when I cut it into it, and you look at this piece right here, when you cut into it, it's already going to be sliced, because when you take your knife, you cut right into it. So if you see right there, you have a whole almond already sliced in half, and I left them whole when I put them in there. So they will come out cut when you take your chef's knife and go straight down. That's how dense this torrone is. It's almost like cutting a block of butter, a block of cheese. It's about that dense.
Okay, we have about 2 more questions. Our other question is blueberry torrone served at Zeppoli?
Served at Zeppoli? Sometimes. We like to run it as a special. It all depends. Definitely around Christmas, where we do a cookie board. We'll run torrone on there. But in the summertime, I like to use it for gelato. It's so hot outside that it's something you can take and you fold right into there, and you know, it's delicious, and everyone will love it outside, especially in this heat.
Okay, we have one more question, but before we get to that, I just want to remind our viewers that a link to the recipe will be provided when you complete our short survey after the webinar. But one last question is, what is your favorite meal of all time?
My favorite what?
Your favorite meal. Your favorite meal.
My favorite meal? Oh, wow. So I went to Montreal a couple months ago, and wow, some of the food over there is, you know, French restaurant, and to be honest, escargot is some of my favorite. That's mine personally. But when I go to Italy and I visit Italy, I love the rabbit pizzaiola. That is really my favorite. That's my second favorite when it comes to Italian food.
Okay, and that was our last question for you, Blake.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Blake, for providing some great information. And we would like to thank everyone for attending. As Lisa stated, there will be a short survey sent out, and we would love to hear your feedback to help us to improve for our future workshops. If you complete the survey, you will receive a copy of Blake's recipe for blueberry torrone. On July 15th, we will be having another workshop titled New Dog, Now What? With certified dog trainer, Debbie Murray, and we hope you can join us. Please keep an eye out for our upcoming workshops, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you.